This is Jumprope Revival, where we're training body and soul. I'm Claire Bozeman, and today I'm talking all about lower back pain when it comes to jumping rope. I'm guessing you clicked on this video because you either have lower back pain and want to jump rope, or you have lower back pain from jumping rope. Well, I'm going to go over some assessments and solutions to help you, but before I begin, I always start with a devotion. And today's comes from Matthew chapter 14, verses 30 and 31. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried out, "Lord, save me." Jesus immediately reached out his hand and took hold of him, saying to him, "O you of little faith, why did you doubt?" What faith Peter had when he stepped out of that boat onto the water and walked towards Jesus. But he began to sink. He lost his focus. His focus became on the winds and the waves around him, and he lost control, and his faith in Jesus decreased. A lot of times in our lives and situations, we focus more on those waves and the winds and the storms that come into our lives instead of focusing on Jesus. We need to have faith more than just that one step. We need to have faith each and every step afterwards, knowing that Jesus will not abandon us and he will not let us sink, no matter how big the storm is in our lives. Now let's talk about low back pain and jumping rope. I first have to mention though that I am not a doctor, so please be sure to consult your doctor and also to listen to your body. Jumping rope, especially when done for basic fitness purposes, is not a high impact sport. It only requires you to jump 1 to maybe 2 inches off the ground. The only time it should affect your back or become a higher impact sport is when you're doing things that require a lot of bending over, or intermediate or advanced skills such as triples or quads that require higher jumps. But basic jumping should not cause lower back pain. If you are experiencing pain, there are several things that you can assess to find out what the possible cause of it is. First and foremost, is there a prior history? This could very well be the problem, and this is where you should consult your doctor to see about starting a new exercise program. A lot of times it can just be muscle tightness. It also can simply just be that your body and your muscles aren't used to the movement and the exertion, especially if you're just beginning and new to it, or you only do it once in a while. If you're just beginning, you need to take it easy. Your body and your muscles may just be sore from the new movement. You definitely need to only work out maybe 5 minutes a day, 2 to 3 days a week, with a day or 2 rest in between. Now that doesn't mean 5 minutes in a row. That means a circuit of maybe 8 to 10, 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off, just until your body gets used to it. And then over time, you can slowly increase the days and increase the time. Another thing, are you warming up and cooling down? So often people skip this part of the workout. I cannot say how crucial this is to any workout regimen. I have a video made just on this topic, and I suggest that you watch this, and it includes the importance of it and also a circuit for both a warm-up and a cool-down. Another huge possibility is technique and form. Way too often do I see jumpers out there doing a lot more than they need to be doing. Now this can cause more than just a low back injury, it can cause other injuries as well. I have a video out on proper form. I highly suggest you watch it because form does play a critical role in injuries. Last but not least, you need to perform strengthening exercises and stretches to help support your lower back. Now, that's what the second portion of this video is going to be about. This first part was about assessing what could be the possible cause, and now I'm going to give you some strengthening exercises and some stretches that will help you with your lower back pain. I want to give you a quick little history on my low back. I've had lower back pain now for well over 20 years, before I even started jumping rope. Now, I may have this pain from, could have been just regular daily movements, whether I bent over incorrectly, picked things up incorrectly, could be from jobs that I've had with heavy lifting, or it could have been from sports injuries, including herniated discs, which I have had. So you may ask yourself, well, how can you jump rope? Well, for all the reasons that I just mentioned. When I first started jumping rope, I started out slowly and got my body used to the movements. I also warm up and cool down. I also make sure that I have proper form and proper technique. And the most important thing that I've been doing, and I continue to do on a daily basis, is I do strengthening exercises and stretches. And that's what I'm about to go over with you, are the 10 exercises that I do pretty much almost every day to help me with my lower back. Please note, everyone is different, and again, I am not a doctor, so please consult them first. The biggest key for lower back pain is strengthening it and everything around it, basically creating a support system. This includes muscles such as your abs, your glutes, your hamstrings, your QL, and your hip flexors. Now I will share with you the exercises, stretches, and massages that have helped me along my journey. First exercise, pelvic tilts. Get on all fours, keep your chin tucked. Pretend like there's a pole going into the one hip and out the other hip, and you want to rotate on that axis, just with your pelvic area. You want to go as far as you can go down and as far as you can go up without moving any other part of your body. And that's the vertical tilt. And you find the neutral position by going up as far as you can and then down as far as you can, and whatever that middle area is your neutral position. And you'll find that to be key in everything that you do. Every exercise that I perform from here on out, including other things such as push-ups, but that is a very important position to know. So again, just keep doing those. Just moving your pelvic area. You can also do these laterally. So take that same pole, but put it straight down through your pelvis into the floor. And you want to rotate laterally, just moving your pelvic area and not moving any other part of your body. So those are the pelvic tilts. The next exercise we're going to do involves your hip flexors. Little Buggy wanted to join. So when doing your hip flexors, you want to be in a position where your knees are both at a 90-degree angle, as such. And when you're doing this exercise, you don't want to, which I see a lot of people do, is go like this. This is not being very helpful, and you're not going to feel as much of a stretch in your hip flexor, and plus it can also hurt your lower back. So you want to get into that 90-degree position. And the key here too, what a lot of people do is when they're in this position, notice how this hip goes up. Whichever knee is up, that hip tends to go up. You want to make sure that you put that hip down so that your hips are straight across. So that's crucial when it comes to this stretch as well. So 90-90, hips level. Then what you want to do is take this knee, drive that knee, whichever knee is on the ground, drive it forward towards this foot, and drive this heel, whichever heel is up, drive that back. So you're pulling those almost together, and you're keeping that neutral position. Remember I talked about the neutral position when we did pelvic tilt. So you want to be in neutral position, hips level, 90-degree angles. Pull that knee in and that foot in, and you'll feel that stretch. And lean slightly forward. You don't need to do what I showed you before. That'll hurt your lower back. You can also add into it a side stretch, and you'll feel that in the side here and a little bit more in your QL and your lower back. So I'll show you from the side. Driving this knee forward, this heel back towards each other. Pelvic in a neutral position. Leaning slightly forward. Shoulders straight, chest up, and you'll feel that pull. And then again, you can lean sideways. And you'll feel that as you're pulling that in, you'll feel that stretch. And then obviously you want to do it to the other leg as well. The next stretch is the banded march. That's also for your hip flexors to strengthen them. You could do this with or without a band. I'll do it without a band first. Without a band, again, you want to keep your hips level. You don't want to lift up one leg and your hips go off balance, you want to keep them level. So what you're going to do, you can hold on to something very lightly if you need to. You're going to take your knee and pull it up as high as you can go, keeping those hips level, and you want to let go. And you want to hold it there as long as you can. And it'll slowly start to drop, and that's okay. And just keep holding it there. Make sure your legs or your hips are level. And then as it drops, you can let it go. And then you want to repeat that on the other side. The way to use the band, you put it around both feet. And you can, again, hold on to something lightly if you need to. Keep those hips level. And you want to drive the one foot up and hold it. You want to hold it there. Make sure you keep those hips level and in a neutral position. You're going to find that that's crucial with everything, even bending over to pick up something. And then you want to do it to the other leg as well. And again, you want to do it until your leg starts to drop, and then switch legs. The next exercise is the glute bridge. Now, I've seen many people do this incorrectly. I'm going to show you a correct way to do it that I have found, and it has been extremely helpful with my lower back. So you want to put your feet about hip width apart and kind of close to your glutes. You want to keep your shoulders on the ground, and you want to have your hips in as max posterior tilt as possible. So you want to boop, and you want to keep your ribs in, but with your shoulders down. And another important thing is to suck in your gut, suck in your belly button to your back. And then you want to squeeze your glutes. That is super, super important. Squeeze your glutes. So there's a lot to think about, a lot of things. Squeeze your glutes, and then you want to raise up. And you want to have your heels digging into the ground, squeezing your glutes. And you want to raise up. Now you're only going to raise up until you form a line with your shoulders, your hips, and your knees. A lot of people go up all the way, they arch their back. You just want to keep that, your hips tucked in posterior tilt, the max that you can. Squeeze the glutes, and then hold that position. And then you can lower, keeping all of those things still engaged, and go up. And don't forget, you're forming that line. And you can hold up at the top if you want. Keep those posterior tilt, tummy tucked, hips in the max posterior tilt. Slow and controlled. And that's the glute bridge. Next exercise are planks. Planks, you want to have your hands out, gripping the ground underneath your shoulders. You want to have your feet extended with your toes gripping the ground. You want to have your core engaged. Your head, you want to pull it forward like it's on a string, like somebody's pulling it to the other end. And your feet stretched out as far as you can. And what you're trying to do is raise your spine to the ceiling, but be sure to maintain your neutral pelvic position. And that's the plank. The next exercise are side planks. It's kind of similar to what we did, only you're going to be on your side. So you want to have your elbow and your shoulder in line, and you want to drive that shoulder. You don't want to let it sag like this. You want to drive that shoulder into the ground. You want to keep your hips level. You don't want to sag like this. You want to keep them level, and you're pulling that rib cage to your hip. So kind of like squeezing that area. You can put your other hand up in the air, and you want to keep your head in line with your spine, and don't let it sag. Keep that up. And that's the side plank, and obviously you want to do it to the other side as well. The next exercise is the QL stretch. Your QLs are the muscles in your lower back. And with this one, you wanna sit Indian style, and you wanna sit up straight and relax. And what you wanna do is you wanna push one of your knees down, and you wanna lean to the side, put the other arm in front of the shin, lean sideways, and then twist. And you'll feel that stretch in your lower back. And then obviously you'd want to do it to the other side. Put this arm in front of this shin, push that leg down, lean and twist. And that's the QL stretch. Next exercise is called the bird dog. Now, you want to keep your hands in line with your shoulders and your hips in line with your knees. And basically, you want to be in your pelvic neutral position, so find that neutral position. You also want to keep your abs engaged. And what you're trying to do, it's opposite hand, opposite leg, and you're reaching out as far as you can in a slow and controlled movement. So opposite hand, opposite leg. Push your heel as far as you can that way, and reach your hand as far as you can that way without moving any other part of your body. And again, try to keep your body in a straight line and slow and controlled movements. And that's the bird dog. Next, we have clamshells. So what you want to do is you want to get down on one of your sides. You want to have your feet, your hips, and your shoulders in line with each other. You want to make sure you keep the hip that's on the ground. You want to keep that love handle up off the ground. You don't want to relax it because then your spine is not in a straight line. You want to keep your spine in a straight line. Keep your head into a position where it's also in straight line. And then all you want to do, make sure your abs are engaged as well. And all you want to do is lift that leg up. Slow and controlled movements. The other thing you can do to make this a little more difficult is to add a resistance band. And it's literally the same exact thing, only you're adding some resistance. You just put a band around your knees, line up in the same way, feet, hips, and shoulders, love handle off the ground, abs engaged, all in line with each other, and lift and lower. Slow and controlled. And those are the clamshells. Lastly, I'm gonna go over a few lacrosse ball massages. The first one we're gonna do is for your QL. Now your QL muscle is located, if you find the top of your hip and the bottom of your ribs. It's located in between there and close to your spine. So we'll do one side first, above your hip crest, the bottom of the ribs next to your spine. Place the ball right there. You wanna lay down on that. And then you wanna tilt your hips, put them in, tuck them under, like in posterior tilt. And then you wanna lean to that side to get that ball really in there into that QL muscle. The other thing you can do for added deep massage is to bring that knee up. If that's too tender, you don't have to do that. It just gives you a deeper massage. And just hold that. And that's the QL massage. Obviously, you'd want to do it to the other side as well. The next one is going to be for your TFL muscle. Now your TFL muscle is basically pocket position. It's that muscle that runs down here to your IT band. So it's this muscle right here. So you want to place the ball right there when you lay down. You can also do it up against a wall, but I've always done it on the ground. And you find that position and you'll know when you feel it. And just relax down into it. And it can be very tender, but you just want to sit there and hold it. And that's the TFL massage. And you would obviously want to do it to the other side as well. The last one I'm going to do with the lacrosse ball is the piriformis muscle, which is the one that's deep in the center of your butt. So you basically want to take the lacrosse ball, put it in the center of your glutes, lay down on it, and you'll feel it. You wanna sit down on that and then just hold that. Don't forget to breathe. And then you can also obviously do it to the other side. Center of your butt. And just sit there. And hold it. And breathe. And that's it. That's the piriformis massage. I really hope this video has helped you and answered any questions you may have when it comes to lower back pain and jumping rope. If there's any exercises that you have that have helped you with your lower back pain, please be sure to comment them below. I'd love to give them a try. Lastly, please be sure to subscribe to my channel. I also have all my social media accounts linked up down below where you can follow me as well. Once again, I'm Claire Bozeman. Thank you so much for joining me. And as always, have a blessed day and let's get training.